When Splatoon 3 first launched, a lot of people's eyes were on the Splattershot Jr., a weapon many people played in Splatoon 2, and while it didn't have the game-breaking special it had in Splatoon 2, it did have Big Bubbler, which seemed to have a ton of potential. But as of recent, not only has both of the Splattershot Juniors been pretty rare to see in competitive play, but I find that they're pretty rare to even find in solo queue. So why is this? Is it because the main weapon is not very good, or is it something else? Before I get into it, I would like to mention that this is purely a video talking about why I think most people don't play the juniors today. And also, I am not an expert on the juniors, nor am I a competitive player. And while I have been studying the competitive history of the juniors in Splatoon 3, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of the weapon, if you think you know more about Junior than I do, then I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let's start by talking about the main weapon of Junior. The Junior belongs to the Splattershot family. It has slightly less range than the Splattershot, but the same painting range. And speaking of paint, this weapon is very good at inking up turf. It takes 4 shots to kill, and the shot RNG isn't great. So Junior is worse at killing than most other shooters. I said most. The Junior also has a very good ink efficiency, and on top of this, it has a 10% larger ink tank than every other weapon. So basically, all sub-weapons are cheaper on Junior. And here lies one of the major aspects of Junior. While most other weapons play, let's say, 90% using the main weapon and 10% using the sub-weapon, Junior is much more like 70% main weapon and 30% sub-weapon. You can use your sub-weapon way more on Junior than you can on any other weapon. And now I guess I'm not talking about just the main weapon anymore, am I? So, let's talk about the kits. The Vanilla Junior has Splat Bomb and Big Bubbler, and the Custom Junior has Torpedo and Wavebreaker. Now you might start to see the problem with the Juniors. They just don't offer that much, and many times it's more worth it to just play other weapons. To start with the Vanilla Junior, while you do have Bomb Spam, Painting, and a Bubbler, that's all you get. And because of a lot of specials destroy Bubbler right now, it's already not in a great spot. So your game plan being spamming Big Bubbler isn't really that good right now, when especially this special is in the game. And this one. Oh, and this. And Wavebreaker too. And the Custom Junior, while Torpedo and Wavebreaker spam, is pretty good at shutting down certain weapons. And if you have a Wavebreaker out and you're throwing torpedoes, the Custom Junior isn't actually that bad at killing. But at a high enough level, having a Junior only spam non-lethal bombs is going to be pretty ignorable. And even when Junior does have Wavebreaker and torpedoes flying everywhere, and Junior actually is a pretty decent Slayer weapon in that time, you have to realize it's only when you have the special and subs out. Sure, Custom Junior can get a lot of them, but why don't just play a weapon that can constantly be a threat? And that's really the reason I think the Juniors aren't used that much. The effect the Junior has on the match is, well, not as much as other weapons. Not to say bomb and special spam is completely ignorable, but you know what's a lot harder to ignore than a Junior? Maybe something like T-Tech. This weapon can actually fight and has a splat bomb. And it can paint pretty decently too. Or let's look at some weapons with the same specials, like the Zinc Mini Splatling. It has high bubble output and high paint output, yet the main weapon is something you have to respect much more than a Junior. Or let's look at something like the Heavy Splatling. Personally, I think this might be one of the best weapons in the game right now, and it also has a high output of Wavebreakers and paint. These weapons are actual threats, can paint, and have high special output, but don't sacrifice, well, being a Junior. Does this mean Junior is such a bad weapon that nobody should play it? Of course not. You should play what weapon you find to be fun, and I still think this weapon is in the higher end of mid-tier if we're putting things on a tier list. But just realize that the game does have other better options right now. But what do you think about the Juniors? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But with that said, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. My name is CATLOAFMAN, and I will see you in the next one.